My wife will love you for that.
Boss, we're up and live, so you can start whenever you want.
You put that with the other 500 copies you got.
This is wild. So, we contacted the lady that is the editor of this and said, can we get a couple extra copies? And she said, I can give you 3. And we said, well, we'll pay for extra ones. She said, you probably are not going to agree to that. What's the point of that? He said, each one would cost $10, and you have to have a minimum of 10. So that's $100 for 10 of us.
Oh, my gosh.
She said, I recommend you talk to all your friends. So, thank you, Frank.
Yeah. Had I known that, I brought the mic. I can get you one from Mark too, maybe.
So, my wife is going to send one to her brother just to egg him on. He's lived in Louisville a long time and never had his picture in anything.
Doug?
Hey, Frank, how are you? See? Joe? Just gonna fall off. You asked me about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I got behind. All right.
So are we on? City Attorney, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Okay, well, I just want to make sure the water isn't leaking down your side of your house while we're talking to you today.
Pardon?
Just want to make sure that the water isn't leaking in your roof while we're talking to you today.
No, we're on the mend. We're on the mend.
Good. Glad to
We
hear
have
it.
drywall.
It almost ruined his house. And it all because of a gutter problem. Can you believe that? That's great. And it went down the wall between 2 adjoining houses and ended up coming in underneath the floor. And they didn't know it for like a week or something. And they've had to rip out the whole, it's just really sad.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere around $30,000 worth of damage. Yeah. But it's not a big deal. It's insured, so whatever.
Okay, it's 2:30. I'll call to order the special meeting, this special meeting of the Prospect City Council. Today is Friday, September 29, 2023. It's 2:30 p.m. First item didn't appear on the agenda, but the first thing I'm going to do is ask if we have any citizen comments. We've got 3 folks here in the room, including Jacqueline McGrail, Paul, and I'm sorry.
New resident, Marty Lee.
Marty, very nice to see you.
Welcome.
Well, that's great. We're glad you're here. So what we'll be doing today for everyone's benefit is we'll be having citizen comments. I'll give a brief report, and then we'll go into executive session. So everyone will need to step out while we talk. Then when we're finished, everybody will be able to come back in and we may be taking action at that point.
You say what the topic is for the executive?
Yes, and we're going to talk about that. So maybe I'll give my report first, and so we give some context before any citizen comments. So this meeting is in connection with situation that developed a year or more ago, 2 years ago, and involved a resident who had what is referred to as natural landscape, as opposed to a more conventional lawn that one might expect to see in Prospect. So our code enforcement board cited Mrs. McGrail with regard to that natural landscape. She appealed that citation to the Jefferson District Court, which is where appeals are taken from boards such as our code enforcement board. The city has been represented in those proceedings by Matthew Bunnell of the Watt, Tarrant and Combs law firm, who I believe has joined us by WebEx. Matthew, thank you for being here. And Mrs. McGrail was also represented in those proceedings. Those proceedings went on, and we're coming to a point where the judge was going to have a hearing to decide the issue. And the parties reached a tentative agreement, and that's what we're here today, is to talk about that agreement. A step along the way was that in February of this year, so 7 months ago, we formed a committee that Mrs. McGrail participated in, and that John Clark, who's now a member of the council, he was not a member of the council at that time, but he chaired that committee. David Holmes was a member of that committee, as was Don Gibson, who's on the council. Frank Fulcher had been a member of the committee, but when John Clark became a member of the council, he stepped aside from the committee because with 4 council members on the committee, it would create, it would implicate open meetings rules and that sort of thing, because it would be a quorum of the council. Previous members had also been David Wicks and Sandra Leonard. They served on the committee but didn't complete their service. The committee met, I think, for the final time just a short while ago, and I think may have reached a consensus on a revised ordinance that would deal with and govern natural landscapes. So the parties have reached a tentative agreement. That's what we'll be talking about in executive session. And I will, at this time, ask if any citizens would like to make any comments. Okay, if not, the only item on the agenda, well, 2 items on the agenda. The first is executive session to discuss proposed or pending litigation, in this case, pending litigation pursuant to KRS 61.810, paren 1, paren C. Is there a motion for the council to go into executive session?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we will go into executive session. I'll ask our citizens to step out, and then we'll let you know when we finished our discussion, when we come back into regular session, and you'll be invited back into the meeting.
I'm just gonna open up the door and ask Phil to wake them up or wait upstairs and
Doorman.
Okay, boss, the YouTube